Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Three at the Back podcast. As you can tell, I am not in sunny old England. I've handed over the reins to Scott and Paul for the next couple of weeks. So enjoy this episode that discusses Game Week 4 and Game Week 5. Boys, have fun and don't muck it up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Three at the Back podcast. I am Paul. I'm with my good pal Scott, aka FPL Heavy Metal. We are one member down today. It's only two at top, a formation change if you like. This is episode 12. We will be discussing Game Week 4, how the results went, how our teams performed, a little bit of a deep dive into Aston Villa and their current woes, and then a Game Week 5 preview and how our teams are looking. How are you doing, Scott?
Good, mate. Good. Well introduced. I prefer your introduction than Darren's. Just well too long, isn't it? He's cried off with an injury or a holiday, wherever you want to frame it.
Well, hopefully he's enjoying himself.
Well, I hope he is. Left us to run riot, mate. Let's do it.
Let's let loose.
Well, so what's that first? Game Week 4 results, yeah?
Yeah, let's go for it. I will share my screen.
You want to start off talking about your Arsenal result, right? Of course.
Definitely. So I guess to start the episode, I just wanted to call out, I guess, the top 5 things that jumped out to me. I'll go for the first one. So premium players coming good. How do you feel about that, Scott? I think you've got a few in your team.
Well, I mean, I had a decent week in my free hit. Yeah, I went double top premium with Haaland and Salah. So yeah, both coming good. Salah coming good very late in the day as usual, but yeah, better late than never.
That's Liverpool in a nutshell at the moment. All their winners have come in the 80 plus minutes. So
what do you think to that? I mean, is that luck or is that just perseverance? Sign of champions.
A little bit of both, but I don't think you can continue that form because you'll come unstuck eventually, and you'll start to drop points.
Yeah,
their qualities bailed them out a few times already this season, and that will not continue over the remainder of the seasons.
Although that penalty shout was a penalty, but how fortunate. I mean,
yeah, after defending so well.
I mean, Burnley were awesome, weren't they? Let's face it, let's give them the credit they deserve. They were fantastic and stuck in there and really limited Liverpool to virtually no chances at all. I remember the Bradford making, there's one shot from Szoboszlai that he kept out.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't remember.
Yeah,
and Salah was a ghost.
Yes, I'm sure we'll get onto the conversation of Salah and Haaland a bit more later, for sure. Next thing, clean sheets galore. So if you free hitted and went heavy at the back, I expect it paid off pretty. I think you were one of them, Scott.
Well, I put my team up last week on here. Said I was going big at the back if I was free hitting. I think as a strategy, it's viable this season because there's so much quality, so many points to be won in the DEFCONs, and clean sheets seem to be a thing this season. Whereas the last couple of seasons they've been rare. It seems like teams are defending better or teams are attacking worse, whether way you want to see it. I think I counted 10 clean sheets from the 20 teams, so half the teams is this week picked up clean sheets. So yeah, big at the back is back, baby.
Yeah, I looked at the first 4 game weeks compared to last season. There's been 32 clean sheets so far this season with 94 XG versus 18 in the previous season. So there's been a lot more clean sheets this season, which I think has surprised me. And adding DEFCON into that is making it really fruitful.
Is that sustainable, all those clean sheets?
I don't think the clean sheets will be sustainable because once teams get into full swing, you'll start seeing, I guess, some more competitive games with regards to goals going in at either end. So I would suspect that clean sheets will start to slow down. But yeah, those DEFCONs, I guess I'll skip 0.3 for a second and go to 0.4.
DEFCONs, yeah.
I'll move the order. They are really making a difference.
Yep.
And it's making me look at it
Yep.
differently, which I think is it's making the game fun from that perspective, because I'm picking players that I would normally not look at.
Well, I picked 5 centre halves in my my free hit. I mean, I wouldn't have picked
Not
one
an
probably.
attacking wing back in sight.
No, and didn't give it a consideration either, really. Probably Munoz was probably the closest I came to picking an attacking fullback.
Yeah, they're really making a difference. You know, Senesi, Tarkowski have all got DEFCON points in all 4 games, and you know that's an additional 8 points.
Yep,
they've gained. It's
doing their jobs.
Yeah, it's a difference maker.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, well, that's nearly 3 assists, right?
Yeah.
If you had a wing back getting 3 assists in 4 games, I mean, even everyone's team.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm liking it. I must admit, I'm pretty converted at this point. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Blunt Villa. I guess we should have a brief conversation before we go into them in a bit more depth. But did you watch the game at the weekend for them?
I've only seen the highlights. I mean, I was willing Watkins to do something. We got some Watkins stats to come up later, but they're pretty damning. But the dilemma is what to do, because there's fixtures. The fixtures are still good. I'm going to die on that hill.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Yeah, and it's the first sign of madness, right? If you keep doing the same things over and over again.
Well, we'll get into it, but I'm not sure. I'll ask you a question when we come to the Villa about, you know, what you think is going on. I've got a little theory as to what is going on there, but it's interesting, yeah.
Well, I'll be interested to hear the theory for sure. And then lastly, injuries and fixture swings could be a nice time to wildcard or leading to wildcards. Have you got that in your thought process, Scott?
I've got an idea. It's probably a bit early for me to wildcard, but I've seen plenty on social media, people pushing that panic button, especially after last week. It was a very sort of swingy week last week. You either did great or did really poorly. And I think if you're on the back end of that, you are probably 40, 50, 60 points behind after 4 weeks, which is a lot. So people are panic wildcarding, which is always the worst thing to do.
Sure, for sure. Yeah. I'm probably one of those that's quite far behind already, but I'm not panicking just yet.
Okay. That's not your style, is it? Your style is to play it cool and calm and come late.
That's it, exactly. Come with a plan late.
I mean, Darren had a double whammy last week. He wildcarded and had a crap week, which is not what you want.
We can discuss his team without his input.
And we can say what we like.
I look forward to it. All right, should we get on to Villa?
Let's do it.
I guess I say that. Just a quick preview on game week 4 points.
Well, so this is last week. So on last week's show, it was all Palmer dependent for me. So if Palmer was fit, I was going to play the team I had and just benched Sarr, because we knew he was out for a week or 2. And if Palmer was out, I was going to free hit and keep, because I want to keep him, because I can only his injuries really short term, and I think people ditching him, he might be a differential. And I believe his form will come back and he'll be good. So have him as a differential is quite a weapon, I think. So news come from Maresca, and it was like, it wasn't very helpful. It was, he's trained, but he might not play. So I was like, well, what do you do? So I was on holiday in St. Ives. And by the way, Darren, I was on holiday last week, and we done a record, the 3 of us. So, you know, just saying.
Part-timer.
But I had a plan to what free hit I wanted to do, because the matchups for me, the team matchups really lent itself to a good free hit regardless. So you had some strong defenses playing some weak attacks, and vice versa. You had some weak defenses playing some strong attacks. So as a week, there was fixtures you could pull out and build a really strong free hit team, which is basically what I did. And I mean, you also need a bit of luck.
Always.
the captain pick, it was Salah Haaland. I asked my missus, who listens to my FPL waffling and pretends not to be
For her sins.
interested. Well, she pretends not to listen, but when I ask her a question, she knows the answers, so she's listening. She said go Salah, so I instantly went Haaland. And it paid off.
Paid off a treat. The 5 at the back worked perfectly, right? So, yeah, if you had Newcastle,
all 6
Arsenal,
returned.
Liverpool, you were there.
But like I say, so you had Arsenal and Newcastle, the best 2 defences on XGC this season by a long way. Newcastle are actually top of that list, despite playing Liverpool with 10 men.
Yeah. Impressive.
So, yeah, to double up on Newcastle and Arsenal was a no-brainer. Arsenal playing Forest were blunt, can't score a goal, and likewise Wolves playing Newcastle. So when I said the matchups, those 2 matchups just jumped out. You had Palace playing Sunderland, who haven't scored many goals, and then Liverpool playing Burnley again, not going to score many. So I was pretty confident that those 6 would return, would get clean sheets, because the matchups just worked, and it was just a case of then who do you play up front. Semenyo was a no-brainer; he's on fire. Haaland for me is a must, and then Salah and Gakpo against Burnley, and then a bit of a spicy pick with my man Pino, who missed 2 absolute sitters.
That would have been a great score, wouldn't it?
I couldn't. The first one he missed, I couldn't believe it. I mean, crikey, I let him off because it was his debut and he's new to the league, and he certainly rushed it.
Definitely should have buried it.
Yeah, and him and Gakpo were the only 2 out of my 11 that didn't return. So, a great week. Boosted me right up. I'm up to 400,000 in the world from 2.7 mil, which shows you can do it in 1 week. Well, it just shows you if you're bold enough to believe in what you're doing and you don't sit on your hands and whatever, you can have a good week. And that can happen to anybody. So, I take it, obviously, and go, yeah, it was all skill. But basically, it's just having conviction in what you know, right?
For sure.
I mean, you know what you're doing. I think sometimes you just hesitate, and the moment's gone. Sometimes you've got to be bold and just grab it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm a bit too cautious maybe with FPL. Yeah, on my side, again, I was fairly happy with my week. Reinders was again a whisker away from making it a really decent week, and I had Papsar with 8 points on the bench, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So again, it shows that I'm picking the right players, which I think is a positive. And I'm planning for that probably game week 6.
But you had a good week, right? How many points? 76 points, was it?
Yeah.
That's a solid. I mean, that's a great week, really. I mean, and the global average was what we talking about, 58, something like that.
I think it was a bit higher than that in the end.
But a 76-point week is fantastic, really, and just an ordinary week. If you compare it to Darren's wildcard week, there 67. I mean, you're up on his wildcard, and that's just your regular team. So yeah, I mean, I think you're probably in a good place, to be honest.
Yeah, and then on to Darren. I think overall Darren's did all right. Obviously, he was unfortunate with the Ekatike blank, which is 2 blanks in a row now for him.
Yeah,
the Bruno G pick is a little bit of a strange one from my thought process.
Well, Darren's he loves Bruno G, doesn't he? He always bangs on about him. Not sure why, because he's not a great FPL option in my view. Doesn't get many outputs.
Yeah, I guess it's probably he has certain set pieces, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one of the 3 midfielders that has probably more license to go forward. But yeah, I would tend to avoid him.
But his price point, what was he? 6 or 6.5?
Around that, yeah.
There's so many better options around that price point than him. Even going for a premium defender over him and dropping Bruno down to sort of like a king at 4 or 5 would probably be as good an option as that. So, and he's got Grealish in there as well, who was the most transferred in. And that's the curse, isn't it? The most transferred in player has blanked every week. So, well done. Well, I think Semenyo is the most transferred in so far for game week 5. So, just saying, Paul, you got him there.
Yeah, well, I was ahead of the curve at this time. All right. Villa. So do you want to start on this one, Scotty?
Well, I mean, what's going on with Villa? 4 games, no goals. very, very shot shy. And there's the stats on the left of the screen there for Ollie Watkins. 82 minutes played, and nothing. Those stats are nothing. He had one touch in the box. He only had 16 touches the entire game, which is
probably
the ball boy probably had more touches than he did. It's terrible. But when you watch Villa, to me, fundamentally, there's something missing, and to me, it's Morgan Rogers' position. Last season they had him in the 10, and he was. I know Emery's tactics pretty well. He likes the runners, and he likes to break the lines with runners. And those balls get played down the channels, which is ideal for Watkins. But there's no one making the gaps for him. So they played Buendia, they played Watkins. Tielemans was playing like in that sort of pocket in behind, and there's no one driving with the ball because he's got Rodgers playing wide. Whereas last season he's in that 10 role, making those darting runs through either with the ball or without the ball.
Together, right?
Well, he's just creating channels, like passing channels, either with the ball, like taking defenders on, like he's really strong at, or making runs in those spaces and taking defenders away and allowing Watkins space on the other channel. Without Rodgers in that zone and playing wide, I think he's lost that. So his whole ethos about making runs and being powerful runners from the middle are lost if you're playing Rodgers wide. So I think when Elliott is ready to start, he'll do that more if he's been brought to play the 10 role. And I think you'll see a turnaround for Villa in an attacking sense.
So
he's good.
Who's been playing there so far? Has it been Tielemans?
Well, Tielemans has been playing
that
there.
role.
Yeah, Tielemans has been playing there, and he's not particularly mobile. He's great passer of the ball, but he's not going to drive into those spaces and occupy defenders and create space for other people. I mean, you could play Marlon, which is what I would do. I'd play Marlon on the right and put Rodgers back in that central 10 role. Which I find weird because he played the virtual last season and was an absolute revelation.
And again, I think he had a half-time sub for one of the wide players. Again, I think that's 2 games running now that he's had early substitutions for his wide players. So he's clearly not trusting some of them.
I think he's got a trust issue or some sort of issue with Marlon because he hardly ever starts him. And he's just made for that sort of wider attacking role. And Tielemans went off at half-time, which has come back as that he had an injury. So he could be on the crook list. So yeah, I don't know how Harvey Elliott, how close he is to making a start.
They need to rush him through.
Yeah, I think they do because there's 4 games down already, no goals, been very poor. And
they're the only team in Europeans' top 7 leagues not to score a goal.
Yeah. I know you start that poorly, your season's finished. You're behind the 8 ball already, and it's so hard to claw those points back. And
with their payroll, Europe's a must, isn't it? So,
well, I mean, what are they looking for this season? Top 6?
It's a must.
Yeah,
I think they're progressing because they've invested quite a lot in their squad.
Yeah. I mean, I did read a quote from Ezri Konsa did say that the transfer window was compromised because of their financial setup. So, I think they've been straddling in that line, that PSR line for a while, maybe conscious that they're probably the wrong side of it. So they didn't go crazy in the market. Brought in Gessen. Didn't start.
Yeah.
Strange. So, don't know. Weird one. I think Harvey Elliott makes a difference, but I think it's probably season done already in terms of like a top 6 finish for them.
Yeah, for me, the main surprise is just the lack of intensity from them.
Mm-hmm.
They've been played off the park pretty much every game so far this season.
Yeah,
and look at those Everton stats.
Yeah, Everton bossed them. Everton were so unlucky to come away without a 3-0 win. I mean, Emi Martinez picked up man of the match, which shows you what's going on. Inian Jai had a great game. Those stats of Villa are pretty poor, and every single stat there is like Everton beaten.
Yeah.
And you're not talking, I mean, no disrespect to Everton, you're not talking about Villa playing an elite side here. Everton are going to be mid-table at best. And they're being absolutely blown away in terms of stats, in terms of performance. So yes, fundamental issues there to sort.
Yeah, and obviously with those fixtures, everyone keeps saying the
Well,
fixtures are so nice, but
Hmm.
this form, surely it doesn't matter at this point.
Well, I read something on social the other day, and it said that Villa are the good fixture, which I guess in current form you can't argue with. That if you've got Sunderland players or you've got Fulham players coming up, then Villa is the team you target, not the other way around.
Yeah,
Which doesn't help us Watkins owners. I mean, what's your thoughts? What's your plans with Ollie for the next 3 games?
I'm going to ditch him this week.
Okay, straight in.
In all honesty, just straight up.
Yeah.
Looking at those 3 fixtures, looking how Sunderland have performed so far.
Yep.
I'd quite fancy them to test them.
Yep.
And same with Fulham. And to be fair, even Burnley, I'd fancy them to give them a test. And they're just showing nothing going forward.
Yep.
The statistics just shine a big red flag on them. And I've just had enough. He's got 2 price drops already.
Yeah, down to 8.
And enough's enough for me. I'd rather roll the dice and risk it at this point.
Yeah. Okay. But you wouldn't be surprised if they turn up, beat Sunderland 3-0 and Watkins gets 2 and has an assist.
Yeah, that would be my FPL story.
Well, because logic to me, my logic says that they can't continue to be that bad because they're not a bad side; they're a good side. So those fixtures, those fixtures don't get any better in the season. They're on a 3. So my logic says, got to hold him.
Don't give me another thought process, mate.
Well, I need money. I want Semenyo in my team. I can't afford him. I need 2 moves. And you look at my team and go, well, Watkins is the obvious. You downgrade to anybody pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you got the funds. But I'm going to be stubborn and I'm going to stick with him and I'm going to try and find Semenyo cash somewhere else. Because I think it will turn. And again, his price drop, which means he's been sold, which means his ownership is lower. Becomes a bit more differential. Him and Palmer cooking this week. I'll be laughing.
Okay. Well, we're both on the either end of the scale, so I guess it gives the listeners something to think about.
Well, one of us will be right.
For sure. That's a guarantee. Anything else, mate, before we move on?
Well, it's just going to come back to the games on over the weekend. I mean, Arsenal winning 3-0, very comfortable, wasn't it? Shut Forest out virtually to 0 XG, which is obviously typical Arsenal. But no one had Zubimendi in their team. Comes up with a 16-pointer, first brace in his entire career. First goal he's ever scored from outside the box as well.
Yeah.
But you knew what sort of play you were getting when you signed him. He is that class act that can do that sort of thing. I mean, what was your take on the game overall from an Arsenal perspective?
We look very comfortable. We look consistently threatening. The 2 wide players in Madueke and Eze look to have settled in nicely.
Madueke looks a threat, but has no end product. Where Eze looked less of a threat, but yet set one of the goals up.
Yeah. Well, I think that's those players in a nutshell. I think Madueke always will be one of these guys that has to have multiple opportunities before he gets the result. I think it's just him stylistically.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about him is he is a consistent threat.
Yep.
And I think with the quality of players we have, he will then, even if he just opens space up for other players.
Well, he'll create situations for your quality players to finish. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's, the plus side to him.
Yep.
With regards to maybe not getting statistics of assists and goals.
What did you make of Eze's debut?
Again, very smooth, lots of nice, neat flicks and tricks, a few back heels, etc. He linked really well down that left-hand side. Obviously wanted to come in continuously, more central to get involved in creating opportunities on goal. And I thought he played well coming back defensively as well. I know you said it's not his game, and it obviously isn't, but he's following instructions. And I think I think the more he plays out there, I think the more he gets suited to how we play stylistically. And I think all positive signs so far.
And if you had a midfield slot for either Eze or Madueke in your FPL team, who would you go for? Bearing in mind that Eze is 0.5 more expensive.
That's a very good question. I probably would invest that 0.5 more in Eze, purely because he's a little bit, as we've just discussed, more clinical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he'll get more opportunities to put the ball in the back of the net versus Madueke will probably be more assists.
Yeah.
So that's, I probably would invest in 0.5 extra.
And when's Saka's likely to return?
I think it's a couple more weeks at least.
Because there's an international break. Is it after game week 6? Between 6 and 7 again?
Yeah.
3 weeks, yeah. So Madueke plays all the games until that point, maybe Saka back after that?
Quite possibly. So, okay. Another reason why Eze probably makes more sense.
Yeah. And what about Martinelli's chances of getting back into that team after Eze's performance?
I see it pretty slim. It'd be interesting to see what team he picks for the Bilbao game tomorrow.
Of course, yeah.
And I think you might see Martinelli in that game, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Rest Eze.
Yep. For
the City game at the weekend.
So I've got it's not a question as such, but it's a fun fact for you. So you got, you had Moreno start in midfield, Odegaard and Zubimendi. The first time they started for Arsenal together, but not the first time they all played together. Yeah, so what club was it they all played together?
Sociedad.
Sociedad, yeah.
When Odegaard was on loan.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. They were started midfield 3 for Sociedad, yeah. I mean, they'd have ripped up La Liga, wouldn't they, with that midfield? yeah. I thought it was interesting. Another interesting fact was obviously Anne's probably coming in, his first game for Forest, Mr. Attacking. That was the lowest XG Forest produced all the time Nuno been in charge.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they didn't. They really struggled.
Very, very much.
Doi was lively at certain moments, but they really struggled to connect passes together and create any fluency in the game whatsoever.
Where I see Arsenal being like the most elite team in the league is that you don't get caught in a transition very often.
Not anymore. That used to be our Achilles heel.
Yeah. But you look at Man City, even in the game against United caught them a couple of times on the break. Liverpool got caught countless times against Burnley on the break. Arsenal, you very rarely see them. So teams like Forest who want to sit in and hit you on the break, there's nowhere to go because Arsenal just snuff out the danger really quick. And that's where Arsenal are absolute elitists defensively, just stopping that counter like instantly. And Forest had no answers. So, yeah, great performance and a really poor one from Forest. And I think a lot of work for Ange to do, really, to get them firing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're conceding goals,
to see
right?
how he implements his style into their team, because him and Nuno are very different stylistically.
Very different. Yeah. I mean, it might suit the Forest players a bit more on the front foot. They'll concede more, but they certainly need to. So what I read was that Marinakis wanted a more attacking style. Sick of seeing his team sitting deep and hitting on the break, because it can get a little boring, a little dull, a little predictable. But I guess you've got to be careful what you wish for, right? Because he's got a guy in there who is basically 11 attackers on the pitch.
For sure. Yeah.
So we'll see. Interesting times for Forest fans.
Yeah, it's interesting time for Forest asset owners as well, because again, it's hard to tell whether to stick or twist with them at this moment in time.
Well, they got obviously tricky fixture out of the way. Now they got 2 nice fixtures. Is it Burnley, Sunderland back to back for them?
Correct, yeah.
So you think you hold on to your Forest assets for now, even your defensive assets, and then look to remove them in game week 7, which is, I've got Milenkovic in my side, which is my plan for him.
Yep.
I'm waiting for his bullet header. Not happened yet. Not yet. Hopefully the next 2 games for him. Any other games you wanted to highlight?
I guess we should probably talk about the Manchester derby.
Sure thing.
Really, it makes sense. Obviously, the biggest game of the weekend.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of confidence coming from Man United fans, probably based on the fact that City were in indifferent form so far this season.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one-way traffic, really, wasn't it?
It was
same old problems.
For me, it was a funny game. I thought United were in the game for large spells without looking threatening. And City also looked threatening. It was like one of those weird. United looked neat and tidy and comfortable in possession of the ball, but whereas Arsenal was so good at snuffing out the transition, United are just so open.
Yeah.
Every time City won that ball anywhere in that middle third, they were through. Straight onto the back three, and it was time and time again. And we've highlighted it without repeating ourselves about Bruno's position. You can't play him in that pivot because he's not defensive minded. He gets too far ahead of the ball. He didn't track Foden for the opening goal. He let him go, which is what you get playing Bruno there. And it just beggars believe what he didn't.
Midfielder in a deep role.
Exactly. I was explaining to someone today at work. I said it's like playing Cole Palmer there. He's as attacking as Bruno is in my eyes. You wouldn't play Cole Palmer in a holding mid role just because Bruno is an intelligent footballer. Doesn't mean he can play that role. And I just find it baffling with Cunha missing. That he's not playing in that 10. He's bringing Ugarte and Kobe Manu in to play that holding role. I find it alarming. And I think the overall performance really puts pressure on Darren because they were blown away by the end of that game and they should have lost by more. It was a poor performance. So where do you see Amarin's role? Do you see him under pressure now?
He has to be. He has a worse record than Gary Neville did at Valencia. He has to be under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
8 wins in 31 games in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That's relegation form. That's really bad.
You would be. If you had that over an entire season, you would be down.
And again, I could understand it if there was some level of improvement.
Yeah.
Either attacking wise or defensive wise, like some level of signs, but we're not seeing it. And he's had a transfer window. He's got some of the players in that he wants, and we're just not seeing improvements. I don't know whether it's a system thing, whether it's a combination of system and players, but something isn't clicking. Poor old Sesko didn't get a sniff on Sunday, and it must be so frustrating. For me, the only player from an attacking sense that stood out was Mbeumo. He had moments in the game, and I thought, again, for the first 10-15 minutes of the game, I thought Man United matched them really well and looked really lively to the point where City looked quite rushed on the ball and would
Rodri gave away ball. Yeah.
Whereas after the first goal went in, it was just City settled down and just completely took control. But
it was such a soft goal. Such a soft goal where Doku just wriggles through. Yeah, he gets the lucky rebound and just knocks into a space, and Foden's run off Bruno and buried it, and it was just soft.
It was Luke Shaw, really.
Shaw, yeah.
The criminal defending, face on to a tricky winger. You're always going to get turned inside out.
But we can't talk about the game without obviously mentioning the big man.
Of course.
Now, it's going to sound terrible, but my take at the start of the season was Haaland was almost essential in this, because the way I saw it was that Salah could not match last season. It was impossible. He was more expensive than Haaland. And if you remember the back end of last season, Salah was pretty anonymous. Whether you put that down to whatever, Liverpool won the league, and he was just aiming for he was just aiming for sort of personal accolades by that point. And you look at this season, people written Haaland off, written City off. They've signed some good players, some good attacking players that are gonna set him up. Ryan has had another good game yesterday without any attacking threat. He should have scored, could have got an assist. But Haaland is just something else, isn't he? Apart from the one he missed, right? which my nan could have put home.
A massive miss.
Well, I don't know who it was in commentary. I think it was Gary Neville said that he sees the lick coming across and just tries to nick it the other side of him, which is.
I think he just miskicks it, to
I
be
think he
honest.
mishit it, didn't he? Just mishit it. I mean,
He's giving
so
him
he
too
should've-
much credit, I think.
I think he did. But his XG, have you seen the XG stats for Haaland?
Yeah, I've got it written down.
5.66 for the 4 games, which is
Phenomenal.
yeah. The next best is 2.66, which is Semenyo. So he's doubled the next best. You know, do you know what Salah's XG is for the 4 games?
I know it's pretty small.
It's 0.3.
Wow.
So if you remove that penalty from the game yesterday, Salah had a 0 XG, not a single shot.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
how can you equate the 2 assets when one's more expensive than the other, and the other one's getting almost 6 XG over 4 games? I mean, it's, you know, if you haven't got Haaland in your team now, you've got to do it, which isn't easy because he's expensive. If you have him, you're ahead of the game, you're ahead of the curve, because people are panic wildcarding Haaland in. So that's the move, you know, in a nutshell. That's the
Agreed.
move. So not easy. You got to spunk a wild card to get him in, or take a -4 or 8 to make it happen. But what absolute performance from him yesterday. He bossed it, absolutely bossed it, and looked like he was really enjoying it. The space he was getting afforded, dropping into pockets where there's no midfield for United and picking the ball up, and it was criminal from.
You got lots of defensive contributions yesterday as well.
He got like 6 clearances or something, wasn't it? He's the first man from corners. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, that would have been a bit of a Mickey take if he'd have come away with DEFCON as well, right?
You would have properly.
I'd strip him from him and say, no, it's not fair, you know. Yeah, so if you haven't got Haaland in your team, out people listening and watching, that's definitely got to be your plan. You got to have a plan to get him in for game week 6 because they play Burnley. And that has to be the main issue. Yeah.
Cool. Well, shall we go on to game week 5?
Yeah, what we got? Bit of game week 5 action.
I just wanted to obviously point out, obviously, some defensive frailties in some of these teams and possible teams to target in the upcoming weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, West Ham really struggling, conceding goals left, right, and centre.
Yep.
Same with Wolves. Forest, although they've got nicer fixtures, but defensively they've not been great. And then, bottom there, Burnley and Man United. So again, these are teams that probably you should be looking at who are they playing and whether they're worthwhile getting assets from.
Well, just on that, I've got some like XGC stats just to sort of back these things up. That all those bottom sides obviously don't appear in XG C ratings because they're conceding chances for fun. The Bravka, Burnley, there's a 9.17 for 4 games, which is pretty horrendous. I mean, so for people that don't understand what that means, they should have conceded almost 10 goals in the 4 games.
Conceding chances left, right,
conceding lots of big chances, yeah, and being bailed out by poor finishing or good saves or something along those lines. Because the Bravka actually is 3rd on the list for saves out the keepers with 12 saves.
Wow.
Yeah, and Matt Sells 2nd on the XGC, 6.38. So you think Forest how defensively strong people assume they are? I think because of the first part of last season, towards the back end of the season, they fell apart defensively, and they've started this season in the same vein. So Matt Sells is a keeper that is conceding chances and goals. Because they're on the list, aren't they? Forest on the list, yeah, but Burnley.
Yeah.
And then 3rd is Bayern Deer.
Oof.
You know, as we just highlighted, United so soft at the back. 6.79 for him, followed by Leno and then Pickford. Funny enough, they're the top 5 worst XGC. Which keeper do you think is the top for saves?
Top for saves?
Question.
I would have thought it'd be someone like Pickford, to be fair.
Pickford's 5th.
5th?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Go on, surprise me.
Vicario.
Oh, wow.
So you think Thomas Frank has tightened them up they don't appear on the XGC, so not conceding many chances, but they're conceding lots of shots.
Right.
Whether they're poor shots or from distance or whatever. Yeah, he's on 17 saves and Leno's second with 13, so quite a long way out, which makes him the highest scoring goalkeeper because they also kept 3 clean sheets in the first 4 as well. So the way I read those sort of stats is that maybe that doesn't last. So Spurs look quite tight on paper, but they're actually conceding quite a few chances, and Vicario's keeping very busy. So that will fall apart at some point.
Well, again, they've had some favourable fixtures, and they've still got some to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tend to agree. I don't look at their defensive assets and think they're long-term picks ever because of that.
Well, I mean, I'm a million short for getting Semenyo. So one of the moves we're keeping Watkins is to downgrade Porro to Van der Ven. That gives me the million to upgrade Sarr to Semenyo for a -4, but still keep that Spurs defensive cover because they've got some nice fixtures still. Bit of a luxury move, moving one defender to the other, but Van der Ven's scoring the points.
Exactly.
You know? I think we mentioned it last week or the week before that the Porro's 5.5 price tag, he's not justifying it over the 4.5 defenders.
No.
So why not downgrade him and that's your million for your Semenyo upgrade. So, and that's probably where I'm thinking if I do a -4 this week, that's probably where I'll go with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Good choice.
Yeah. Good move. Yes.
DEFCON. As I said, I'm sold on this so far.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the thought process of having to think about these type of defenders, and again, how they've budgeted the pricing means we can have a lot of those players and not miss the clean sheet loss when it inevitably will happen.
Yep.
And those two there have got returns every single week so far.
So they're the only two, aren't they, with 100% DEFCON returns? Yeah, which is cool, isn't it? And both were DEFCON beasts last year. So it's not a hidden fact that these two are going to be up there for it. And so it's proven, and both from decent defences too, so that they'll pick up plenty of clean sheets along the way as well.
For sure. Agreed.
Now, I've got a list, just the top 5 DEFCON returnees. Senesi being top with his 55, Virgil second.
Yeah.
Which is quite surprising. He's the only premium defender in that top 10 list, Virgil. And Liverpool have back-to-back clean sheets as well, so he's proven his 6 million price tag to be worthy.
Yep, for sure.
Tarkowski is third on our list. Vandenberg from Brentford is fourth. He's picked up 44 defensive contributions. And then you got Ekdal from Burnley, 4 million defender, is fifth on the list. He's picked up, how many has he picked up? 38 defensive contributions. So if Burnley can tighten up a bit and keep those all clean sheets, you could be onto a winner with him at 4 million. I mean, and that's where these DEFCONs really sort of do make those budget defenders very enticing.
Sure. Well, I guess one that I would mention, a 4 million budget defender, would be Mukiele at Sunderland.
Mm-hmm.
He's come from RB Leipzig, so I know him pretty well.
Yeah.
He's started the last 2 games and got DEFCON in both of them.
Yep.
So a really good option for that budget enabler within your defense.
I'd also go one from the other promoted side as well, is Joe Rodon from Leeds. He's mopping up the DEFCONs. He's also 4 mil. And I've crazy looked at a game week 8 bench boost where Burnley play Leeds. Okay, I already have Dubravka and I have Steve. And to make it a viable bench boost, I ideally want to remove one of them. But if you pick that fixture, the Burnley Leeds fixture, you haven't got to. You just play them. Because I reckon that would be a low scoring, maybe a 0-0. You draft in Rodon as well on your bench. You're looking at a 0-0 draw there, I think, pretty favourably. With DEFCONs thrown in. I mean, that's quite a decent bench boost and costing you nothing.
Sure.
So
sure.
that's what I've looked at early doors. So
Like the
I'll let you
idea.
know next week. I'm
Yeah.
full of ideas, me mate.
Full of them. An idea.
Some are good as well.
Yeah. Injury crisis and European rotation. You wanted to put this on the agenda, Scott. So,
well, it just seems like there's so many injuries going around. We've spoke about it in football in terms for a while that there's so many games that the international break always throws up these injuries. Players traveling around the world. Got Champions League starting this week. It's relentless. It's just never-ending competition, and I do worry for the state of the game long term.
for sure.
You get that Club World Cup in the summer, which was nonsense. There's too many games for the top players. The big money at stake. They get flogged, in my view. These star players, and just highlight sort of Palmer's injury that he's been carrying out since the start of the season. And they play through these things, and you think, what's the long term effect? Are we as fans getting a lesser product because the players are keeping some back for games and not full blood because they know how many games they got to play? I remember playing Sunday League in some back into the season because of all the postponements. We had something like 6 games in 4 weeks. By game 3, you're knackered, and you hold back because in 2 days' time you got to play again, and you do hold back. It might be 5%, 10%. But you're not giving it everything. I think as fans, we are in danger of having a lesser product for the Premier League because of the amount of games that are being played, and I think the injuries just sort of sniffing out a little bit. That could be the case because there's so many of them.
Yeah, I think you might be right. We're seeing it year in, year out. More and more injuries are happening. Speaking from my team, we've lost a lot of assets already.
Yeah.
Odegaard went off injured with his shoulder again.
Yep.
At the weekend, and obviously Saka's out, Havertz is out still, Jesus is out long term.
Yep.
And they're becoming more and more of these long term injuries are happening.
But not only long term, it's the little niggly ones like Saliba. You missed Saliba this week. Might miss another game. It's going to happen, isn't it? The more physical exertion you put on your body, it's going to break. I know they have sports scientists and nutritionists and people watching, recovery times and diet and that, but the workload is huge for these guys. And you listen to any of the coaches and they're saying that basically they don't train anymore. They turn up, they have a warm down session almost, and just like a tactical chat. I heard Oliver Glasner speaking over the weekend saying they spent most of the time in the classroom watching videos and doing tactics on the board because they can't get on the field because what's the point? The players are knackered, So
that makes sense.
Yeah, it just seems daft. And I think as a coach, it must be very hard to sort of try and work on tactics and things when you can't get on the grass and have the players, at your disposal because they're off playing all around the world. You got Carabao Cup starting this week as well, as long as Champions League. There's so many games. I mean, it is pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, I guess that's probably advice with the European games kicking off this week. Just keep an eye on them before you make any changes for your team.
Absolutely,
so I'd wait a bit longer, later to the deadline this week for sure.
Best bit of advice: wait till Friday. Wait till those press conferences because there's bound to be more injuries picked up this week for sure. Yeah, good
and
advice.
Then, lastly, wildcard teams to target, and I guess have you had a thought process on when you're going to use your wildcard, Scott?
No. I'm quite happy with where my team is at. It's just a Semenyo hole in my team, and I'll be really happy with that. So I don't mind taking a -4 this week to get him in. If I do, I don't mind rolling either. Like I say, I'm quite City heavy already in my team. So that game week 6 against Burnley, I'm already there. I've just got to suffer the Arsenal game first, which is a bit of a killer. I can still, Haaland can return in any game, so that's not really an issue. It's just probably you won't captain him in a fixture like that. But then for City 6 onwards, those fixtures are nice, good run. You got Arsenal on there, even Newcastle, plenty of goals usually in your games against Newcastle, and then you go on a really nice run. So you're looking at assets like Madueke, Eze, Vic G up front, looking like a a goal scorer. If not a particularly pleasant player to watch on the eye, he looks awkward and a bit cumbersome, but he knows where that net is. And Newcastle have been great, haven't they? We didn't touch on him in the in the game week 4 review. Voltamadi coming in and scoring like Darren predicted.
Yeah.
You know, like he said, the broken clock is
Props to
right
him.
twice a day. That's one of them. But they go on a good run. Bournemouth next is nice. Nice for them. Get the Arsenal game out of the way, then they go on a really nice run of the game. So out of big teams, there'd be the 3 that if you're building a wildcard team, then they're the 3 you've got to be looking at building around, especially Arsenal defence, Newcastle defence, and City attack.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Fully on board.
Yeah. So what are you? Wildcard for you? You say you're getting twitchy. I mean, when are you thinking?
I'm thinking game week 6 in prep for that Burnley game for Man City more than anything.
Okay.
And yeah, get those Arsenal assets in early.
Yeah.
In prep for that run. So that's my current plan of action, I think.
Yeah, good plan. I think that'd be very popular. Game week 6 wildcard will probably be the.
Yeah.
I think also a free hit 6 will be very popular.
Yeah.
If you want to delay the wildcard,
just the City assets in, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Cool. And let's get on to our teams. I think you're up first, Scott, if I remember correctly.
I mean, look at that bench boost this week with those flags on it. Yeah, so I'm happy with this team for these fixtures. I mean, the Arsenal City one is a game where it could go either way. It could be no goals, it could be a bundle of goals. We were at the Emirates last season to watch Arsenal blow them away during City's poor run, but Haaland still returned in that game. So I don't mind if you beat them 5-1 again, as long as Haaland gets that one. But I probably won't captain him. I've got the captain's armband on Palmer as it stands because they're playing United. But that could be João Pedro. Either one. I think one of the Chelsea boys will have my armband. And I fancy going double Burnley defence against that blunt Forest attack. I got Milenkovic in there, so I'm hoping for a very low scoring game. Spurs with a nice fixture. Brighton very in and out. I think I had my goalkeeping stats for Bruggen was low, least saves and no clean sheets. So defensively they're poor, sort of going under the radar poor because they've not been blown away.
I think it's because they're still quite good going forward, right?
But they're conceding loads of chances, and for Bruggen, I don't really fancy it as a keeper. Seems to make a lot of howlers.
Yeah.
Bit weak.
That Brighton game in years gone by is a typical game that Spurs end up losing.
Yes. Yeah.
So I would be certainly paying close attention to it to see if...
Well, it's a test, isn't it? Because Thomas Frank definitely made an improvement on them, but as the stats pointed out earlier, maybe not in the way you would think, because they're still conceding chances, despite 3 clean sheets from 4, which obviously Andrew would never have done. I don't think he got 3 clean sheets in the 2 seasons he was there, right? So interesting from a an outsider's perspective of that game. Like I say, I might downgrade Porro to Van der Ven, and then upgrade Sarr off my bench to Semenyo, which makes sense to me. Then I've got a bit of a benching headache. Maybe Reinders. I think he may be rotated soon. Champions League this week. Yeah. If he plays Champions League, I can see him getting rotated for the Arsenal game. And they go a bit more solid. Maybe go with a double hold pivot in there, And Gakpo, his time is ticking. Those 3-yard assists have dried up, and he's offering very little. Although some of his corners yesterday were actually quite dangerous. If Virgil could have got on the end of a couple, and Kanate had one, and he virtually headed it over the bar from the goal line. So, happy with that. So my plans are I'll either roll and go into game week 6 and make my move, or as you got there, do the Watkins, Voltamade, or Porro down. I need $1 million to find $1 million from somewhere to upgrade Sarr to Semenyo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. What's the main reason for you wanting to get Semenyo in? Why do you think that completes your current
Well,
lineup.
he's the man on fire. He took a penalty on Saturday. Now, Cliver is their penalty taker. He wasn't on the pitch.
He can't get in the team at the moment, right?
We can't get in the team. Now, Semenyo is the shotmeister, isn't he?
Shotmaster General, yeah.
I mean, more shots than a university Saturday night, right? You add what he offers in open play and penalties at 7.5. I mean, surely he's a must. Has to be.
No, I agree.
You know, so
Agree.
ownership is creeping up. His price is creeping up. He's had a price bump already this week.
Wow.
It's gone to 7.5. He's had 5 price bumps. These are the times that you have to get on board. I don't think it's too late. I don't think the train has gone off the 4 game weeks. You haven't missed it, but you've got to get on him soon. And I don't mind taking a -4 to get on that because I think he will just continue to output. So you already have him. So you're already ahead of the curve in terms of people clambering to get him in. So you already won up on that front.
All right, mate.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it, mate. I like it. Yeah, nice balance as always. And
yeah,
I think your score speaks for itself. So I can't argue.
The only thing with free hitting is you got to come back to your ugly team the week after. You forget, didn't you?
You do. You get all excited.
Yeah, I was getting all excited.
But I bet you would want that 5 at the back this week.
But I think when I wildcard, I think that'll be the way I'll go.
Heavy defense.
I think how I'm going to work it is I'm going to have 2 budget defenders that play, like a Burnley or a Sunderland or a Leeds, 4 million, and have 2 budget midfielders as well, and go heavy up top and rotate. Just keep rotating. Some weeks you play 4 at the back, some you can play 3, some you can play 5. But basically, you have 15 playing players, which is quite unique.
Yeah.
Whereas before you'd have just a bench rider, wouldn't you, for the whole season and forget about them. I think this season with the option to go 5 at the back, to have 15 playing players is the way to go.
When years gone by, you wouldn't really have playable 4 million options, which we seem to have this season. So
you have great ones, like the ones we just picked out from Burnley, Oakdale. You know, with his, 4 million. I mean, yeah, it's a viable strategy for sure.
Cool. Well, I'll show you my team now, mate.
Here we go. Just where the money's at.
Show me the money.
See, I like your team. I think it's really well balanced. I'm surprised you scored a few points over the 4 weeks as you have. I think last week 76 points is the way I think you'll continue to improve. So yeah, I like your team.
Yeah, I think I've probably not done well with regards to captaincy. Getting the right captain, which I think is crucial in getting these good scores. Mm-hmm. And that's where I feel like I've possibly gone wrong because my squad isn't too different to how it started. So
who have you captained? Have you captained Salah more weeks than most?
Yeah. So maybe with my downfall, and obviously I haven't had Haaland at all, so I'm kind of missing him. But yeah, my team overall, as I said, I've completely lost patience with Watkins. Villa's poor form. I'm just seeing nothing in the game so far to make me think that form's going to drastically change.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, a 2-pointer again. I can't face anymore. So I'm going to roll the dice and get him out. I'm looking at a few options. I like to look at Voldemada last week, obviously scoring on his debut.
Mm-hmm.
Visser's out for a couple more weeks as well, so he's got that nailed down at least for the next.
Wait, his injury's not been confirmed by Newcastle yet, is it? I don't think Eddie Howe's come out and rubber stamped it, although Eddie Howe has a bit of a shady record of actually being up front with things like this.
Yeah, not that I've heard, but
yeah.
That's what I've read on the grapevine. So again, we'll have to wait and see. But I feel like his minutes are fairly nailed for the next, 3 or 4 game weeks, hopefully. Other options are Woods, obviously, with Forest's nice up and coming fixtures, and obviously, especially if I'm going to wildcard in 6, I don't need them. I only really need them for not too long.
So you're hoping that the Ange effect will set fire to Wood, do you?
Obviously, it'd be a 1 week punt, right? This will be a 1 week punt, and then I guess a decision whether I keep any of them long term
Mhm.
over the two. That's why I'm maybe thinking Baltimore, because he could be a possible long term pick,
Sure.
and it would just kind of rubber stamp whether I like him or not by picking him
Mhm.
this week. Toying between Salah and Pedro for captain. Obviously, Salah's got Everton at home.
Yep.
He tends to like that fixture.
Mhm.
And as we've said, Man United defensively look a bit shaky. I think Chelsea will be licking their lips for the visit to Old Trafford. And
Yep.
I've got 4 million in the bank
Oh wow.
to get my Man City and Arsenal targets for the wild card, which I'm more and more thinking week 6
Okay.
is the way to go.
Would you go this week if it wasn't for Arsenal playing City?
There's a possibility, but I'm again, without investigating it, I'm not sure how much my team would change. Obviously, I wouldn't have as many teams playing each other because, again, as I've said previously, I tend to not like that because they tend to nullify each other's output. And like I say, I would probably line up, as we said, the 3 teams that we've already spoke about, alongside maybe some more Spurs assets, or mixing up my Spurs assets, I should say. So I just feel I feel like my team's in good enough state where I can hold off. I don't need to panic into the wild card, and I can plan it out a bit better for.
Well,
for
I like your team. You're ahead of the game with Semenyo. You got Van der Ven in already. You got Yorikes. I think people will pivot to him in a wild card, adding Arsenal assets. Probably go double Arsenal defense and him. I'd imagine with Saka still being out. Well balanced. NDI is probably still my favourite 6.5 mid. Everton looking good on the front foot, to be honest. Creating lots of chances.
That's again why I've started him, and I think I'm going to start him this week, is because Liverpool defensively, there's a reason why Van Dijk is getting lots of defensive contributions.
Yeah.
That's because he's having to defend.
Well, he's having to mop up Konate the whole game, isn't he? I mean, that guy's an accident waiting to happen.
So, I think there'll be opportunities. That's one of the reasons why I'm probably starting him over someone like Sarr. He's probably got a more favourable fixture on paper.
Sure. So you mentioned dropping Watkins for Voltamada there. And that brings me full circle to my my quiz question for you.
God.
So he scored on his debut.
Yeah.
Becoming only the 3rd German to do so. Scoring his debut in the Premier League. Name me the other 2. You have 30 seconds.
2 Germans to score on their debut.
Yep.
In the Premier League.
Yep.
Klinsmann. Many.
I'll give you 10 seconds.
Ballack.
Michael Ballack.
Yeah.
No.
Just a bit of a wild card one there.
No. It was Gundogan.
Oh.
On his City debut. Oh. 1 out of 2. I'll give you that. That's good. Klinsmann was a shot. I thought you were going to go Ozil.
Originally, Podolski popped into my brain for some reason.
Yeah. I'm going to hit you with a question every week just to embarrass
to keep you on my toes,
just to test you.
I guess last but not least, should we get to Darren's team?
Yeah, let's have a quick look at his team, because he wildcarded this team, and he's wildcarded with booked in transfers. Okay. Which we told him last week was always a risk, usually a bad idea, because something will crop up. And look at those flags already on his bench. He's wildcarded 200 players already with booked-in transfers. So you either got to wriggle to a different plan or stick to your plan and still have injured players on your bench. It's a hard call. And like we pointed out, the Bruno G pick is strange and needs to be rectified as well. And I'd say the Tosin pick is weird as well, because there's better assets at Chelsea at the same price. I think Chalobah's a better long term, bit of more of a goal threat than Tosin is. But his team is heavy up top. Obviously, the problems we highlighted last week was Ekitike with Isak sniffing. Surprised that Isak wasn't in the squad.
Definitely must be fitness related.
Yeah, but just shows how far away he is from the start. I know he didn't get many minutes for Sweden. He's had no pre-season, but I thought he'd be in the squad, maybe come on for 15, 20 minutes in that game. Not being in the squad at all shows he's probably a long way off a start.
Yeah, and that's one of Darren's planned transfers, is to swap Ekitike straight to Isak.
Yeah.
He's looking at game week 6, but
Game week 6, yeah.
I'm not sure that Isak will be in the running for game week 6, like you say, at this point.
I think he's gonna be ready for after the international break in game week 7, which is 4 weeks from now. So you might get Ekitike for 2 weeks, which is good, and then have to make that call during the international break, which is fine. But I think he's gonna have to pivot to Haaland at some point, which means losing Mo. He decided to go Salah instead of Haaland for his wild card, which I did question as well. But he went for fixtures, right? He looked at the 2 fixtures this week and went, well, Salah's playing Burnley, Haaland's United, and plumb for Salah, which is fair enough. Just landed on the wrong side of the outcome, which is fine. Backline is good. Virgil, Van der Ven,
Nice.
Yeah, good solid keeper. Yeah, I mean overall it's good. It's just a few tweaks. The Paqueta pick as well is a weird one.
It's a typical Darren pick, that.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So typical Darren that it's paid off for him.
Yes, it has. Yeah. Is that Grealish who's on the bench?
No, on the bank.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, that's for his move, isn't it? That's his move to get Isak in.
Yeah, and I think he was looking to move Grealish to Xavi Simons is what he was looking at.
Right, okay.
Potentially for either that week, game week 6, because he'd have 2 transfers or further on. But yeah.
When he really needs to move Bruno G to Xavi Simons, right? If he's going to move one of those midfielders out.
Yeah, I would be more inclined to do that personally.
Yeah,
I think. Then, do you think Bruno G could be more of an asset with the nicer swinging fixtures for Newcastle? Do you think you can?
If you're hell bent on having a Newcastle midfielder at that sort of price, I mean, you're probably looking at Harvey Barnes as that asset. I mean, I would have said Alanga. It's a hard one because Alanga's missed out the last 2 games. Murphy's come in and played really well. Murphy was fantastic last season, but they spent a lot of money on Alanga.
Yeah, so going to be on the bench for sure.
Exactly. So they're going to share minutes him and Murphy, and I think Murphy is probably unfortunate to lose his spot, to be honest. But Barnes seems to have that left side nailed all the time. That Gordon is out suspended, and whilst they're waiting for Visser to come in, so he might take minutes off of one of those guys as well with a different formation. I think Barnes would be the better shout. I guess the only thing Bruno has over all of them is security of minutes, because he will play every single game.
Because there's wingers have rotation risks.
That's right. Yeah. But I still think he's a poor pick.
All right.
Sorry,
cool.
Darren.
Sorry, Darren.
We could have been worse. We could have been a lot harsher, to be honest. But he's away. He can't defend himself. So we'll go easy. Next week we'll put the boot in because he's away again next week. So we'll see how his team performs, and then we'll stick the knife in big time.
Sure. Well, anything else to add, Scott, before I wrap it up?
Just to say I enjoyed it, mate. I preferred doing it just for you, because Darren waffles for too long and talks nonsense. Sorry, Darren, mate. I know you're not here.
Don't give him a complex.
He's not here to defend himself. We'll do that. We'll make it next week. We'll just that'll be the theme of the program. Just be sticking the boot in and apologising for doing so.
Yeah. Well, let's just keep it slick. All right. Well, hopefully that helps for your Game Week 5 selections. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on all the socials and share with all your friends. Good luck for Game Week 5, and we'll see you later.
All the best. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.